In this video, we're talking about how to connect with your spirit guides, and specifically how to hear your spirit guides, your spirit team, how to really awaken your psychic intuitive abilities, because I believe it's all one and the same. And so if you have always had this desire to really hear more of your guides talking to you, you want to see visions, you want to really awaken those clairaudience, clairvoyance, all the clairs, this video is for you. And if you're new, welcome. My name is Katie. And I want to jump straight into it, as always. And I just want to share my story a little bit because I think it'll help you to just kind of see like what I've been through to get here, because yeah, it'll help you. So anywho, let's jump into it. So yeah, my whole life, I have really honestly felt like this is something that I could tap into, but I never knew how, and it never came online, like these gifts. And so I always have, I have a lot of friends who are very psychic, and it always like really irked me because I'm like, I want to be psychic too. Like I knew it was a gift that I was meant to share with the world, but I didn't really know how to really like awaken these abilities and hear my own spirit guides, which if you're watching this, I guarantee you right now, your guides are talking to you at all times. They're truly always talking to us. And it's funny because I used to go to like psychics and healers who would always tell me, I had a lady tell me this the other day, she's like, your guides are all around you. Like they're talking to you all the time. I'm like, I know. But for so long, I didn't realize that because, you know, we're conditioned growing up, and you, myself, all of us, we're so conditioned to, you know, live in the mind and in the logic. So when we go to school, it programs us to be up in the head versus in our hearts or in our bodies and follow our own intuitions, which is what I went through, you know, like so many of us. And so for so long, I was just negating my intuition, and I was just following everything based on logic, based on what society told me to do, even though I had that gut feeling in my heart telling me like, no, make this decision or go there, do this. I always went with logic instead. And so the first tip I have for you if you're watching this is like, do not put logic above intuition, because again, your intuition is the connection to the divine, to source, to your guides. I believe it is all one and the same. I believe it's all, like we can say guides, angels, source, divine, your higher self. It's all truly the same source. It's really just like we're using these different terms, and we do have guides and all these beautiful things, but think of it as the one true source. And it is also your intuition, right? It's the same, one and the same. So intuition, psychic abilities, your spirit guides, it's all the same. And so where you can start with this is starting to follow your own intuition. This is how I built up my relationship with my guides, to start actually hearing them and trusting what they were saying to me, is that I just started following my own intuition first. And it was a challenging road, I'm not gonna lie, but especially this year was where I just started following that urge. And you've probably had so many times in your life where you've met somebody where you just felt off. You met them and you're like, I don't know why, but this person gives me a weird feeling. Or you made a decision where you're like, oh, I feel like I should have done that. My gut was telling me the other one, but I like did it for logic. These little things add up, and you're kind of conditioning your body to shut off your intuitive center, that connection to source, to divine, and your heart, because your heart is also that direct connection to source. So where you can always please follow your intuition with everything, because your intuition is never wrong. Even if things don't turn out right, or quote unquote right, or things go on in your life after you've made a decision through your intuition, you're like, why did this chaos happen? You followed your intuition, and that's all that you can really do. And so know that your intuition is the gateway to really accessing these abilities and hearing your guides more and more. And so, like I said, for myself, it really started with that. I broke away from a corporate job, and none of it made sense, right? I had no money coming in. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. But I just had to make the leap because my intuition was screaming at me. It was like, take this jump, do it. And I was like, okay. So I did it. And then it led me to here, like not even a year later, where I'm just, you know, my abilities have come online. I can hear my guides because I've trusted more and more, because the more that we trust that intuition, our guides, our angels, divine source can talk clearly to us because it sees the trust that we have in them. And so it's really like building that trust within yourself and within them, because they want to see that you trust them. Because again, every single time we negate those feelings, those voices that we hear, I know you've probably heard like voices in your head or seen visions, but you probably have been like, no, that doesn't really make sense. And I've been this way my whole life as well. Like I would just push off like things that I saw or felt. And so know that your intuition is very much a body-based feeling. You're going to feel it in your gut. You're going to feel it. Hence why we all say, like, trust your gut. You're going to feel it in your gut. You might feel it in your heart. You might feel it anywhere in your body where it's just a feeling. It's like a somatic feeling in your body. That's your intuition. The logic is very much tied to the mind and often fear. And not to say that if you follow your intuition, it's not going to be scary. I still do this to this day. Like, this happened last night where I was like shaking out of fear, but my guides were telling me, nope, this is what you have to do. And I was like, I surrender, I trust. And there's always a reason for it, right? It always will make sense the more we follow it, but don't latch onto logic just because it makes quote unquote sense logically or other people are telling you things. This is leading me into another point. So something that I really encourage you to do is stop following advice or information from anyone else outside of you. It's a bold statement, but truly it's like, we often will, and this actually does go for, I mean, even though I'm like, do psychic intuitive calls, don't give too much of your power away to other psychics or healers or teachers or anyone in life, like not even just in that realm. They're beautiful. Like, this is what I do for you guys. It's like, I'm here to guide you and help you on your path. But I, for instance, was giving so much of my power away for so long to all of these psychics because I was like, I need you to tell me the truth, even though in my gut I already knew a little bit. And so again, they serve a purpose, but there is like this addiction almost, because we get addicted to needing other people to guide us or tell us like how to live our life. And then of course, this also ties into like school and work. If you have coworkers or family members or siblings, anyone who's trying to, or friends who are like trying to tell you what not to do, but you instinctually feel like, I don't know that I like trust them, or like I feel a different way. Follow your truth, because it's your truth and it's your intuition speaking, okay? This was a big thing I had to really do. I had to like cut out a lot of people from my life and really for a while just go inward and just see, like, not ask for guidance from anyone else and just follow my own intuition. And it literally led me to awakening this gift in myself to hear my guides more and more, because I was like, not leaning on the outside world or the external or the logical mind to guide me. I was like, I just have myself and I have my intuition, and we're just gonna like move forward in this realm. So that's another thing I will say will help. Building up your intuition. And another thing I want to mention as well that has really helped me is automatic writing. So what this is genuinely just like journaling essentially. But when you're, in the morning or at night, whenever you're sitting down to really tune in after like a meditation or just like wind down for the night, I recommend just calling in your guides. You can say, I call in my guides to channel a message through me. That simple intention is powerful. They're like, okay, we're going to channel through you. And you can just start writing, and it might feel, actually probably will feel a little bit like you're making it up as you're writing. It's going to feel this way, but just trust it. Just trust whatever you're writing will come through, and don't negate it. Don't like second guess it. Just keep writing and writing and writing. And over time, this builds that muscle of trust, because you're going to want to think, your mind's going to be like, what's the next word that I'm writing? But just keep trusting it, and it will flow and flow and flow. And like, I promise you, over time, you're going to look back and be like, I did not write that. I did not write that. And I do this. I channel like the earth. I channel like the Galactic Federation and other beings I've channeled and done automatic writing for. And I will look back and I'll read and I'm like, I did not write that. Like that was spirit channeling through me. So know that that's a really good exercise as well. And again, it's going to feel a little weird at first. You're going to be like, I am making this whole thing up. Just keep trusting it. Write like a page or two a night. You can do this for like a week, couple weeks, however long you need to like build that trust in yourself. It can really, really help you. And the same goes, like, for instance, I channel light language. At first, for me to actually be able to channel this light language, I had to start making up this gibberish noise. I was like, and I was like, I'm not saying anything, like I'm making this up. It feels like you are making it up, because it's, again, building that muscle, because anything in life, we have to build a muscle. It's like everything. So it's going to feel uncomfortable at first. It's going to feel like you're making everything up. I've for so long been like, I'm not actually psychic, like I'm not intuitive, like, because it's a doubt. It's like, I'm actually making this up. And then you see like profound transformations. Like I've given clients and I'm like, oh, okay. So it's just like, you have to kind of give yourself feedback. And the only way you're gonna get feedback is by you putting yourself out there, AKA like writing and trying to channel, like doing these things that at first are gonna feel so weird and not like it's you, but it will build that muscle. Okay. So yeah, that's another thing as well. And just coming back to trust, like trust in yourself. This is the biggest key of all. This has been my biggest journey in my life because I have struggled for so long with self-doubt, growing up in a society, in a world that teaches you to live in your mind. And I went to college, I went, I just was very much like in the academic realm for so long in my mind, like logically thinking that in order for me to build this, it took a little bit. Like I had to really put in the effort. And I still have days, guys, where I'm like learning to trust it even deeper because it's a muscle that will grow and grow and grow. Everyone has different levels of these abilities and like strength of their intuition. But just trust that it's a lifelong journey of trust. So the more that you can lean into that, really lean into it. And if you feel like your intuition is speaking to you, but there's that logic that wants to get in the way, or the fear that's like, no, don't do it, lean into it. Like truly ask it, inquire where that's coming from. Why are you scared? Why are you feeling this way? Like that's really going to help you too, to just build that relationship with yourself. And self-love too is so powerful. Give yourself so much love, even when, again, you're doubting or you're like, this isn't working. Love yourself. Come back to love. Come back to the nurturing. It's like when you're tutoring a child, you're not going to like yell at them for not getting it the first couple of times, right? We got to nurture the child and let them see they're doing a great job, honey. I love you. Keep working at it. You got this. It's like the same for yourself, okay? Treat yourself like that loving little child that you are inside, because we all have our inner child still. I think this is the most important. I, again, have had to learn this as well, because it can be so easy to be so harsh on ourselves, to want to, be with where other people are at. Like I said, I've had friends who are just very psychic, and for so long I was so annoyed that I wasn't there. I was like, why is everyone else so gifted and I'm not? Even though that's not actually the truth. Like, we're all gifted, but it was just like my own inner critic. And so when I learned to really like let that aside and really just nurture myself, give myself the love, things started to quicken up, because Spirit also will only talk to us when we feel safe and when we feel grounded. Oh, this is another one I'm going into. Clear download. So having a regulated nervous system is also very important. When we're in a very high stress space or state of mind, or we're like anxious and all these things, not that that's never going to happen. I still have my days. It's harder for us to hear spirit, because again, the fear comes in, the mind comes in, and that's really what is happening when we're in a dysregulated nervous system state. Living in that high cortisol stress state, it's harder for us to hear our intuition, because our mind is just in overdrive and clogging our intuition. So if you can really, really nurture yourself and your nervous system, and what this means is just taking care of your body. So like eating healthy foods, not too much like coffee or stimulants or these things that are really jacking up like the cortisol in your body, which is the stress hormone, is going to really help you as well. And taking like baths, taking long walks where you can be present and in your reality, versus like, because when we're stressed, we're not present. We're like off in another fucking realm. If you can really come back to like calming your body, this is going to allow you to have clear downloads and intuitive hits in your body. I'm the same way. Like if I'm very stressed, this actually happened the other day, no clear channel. I had no downloads for video ideas, and I'm like, oh my God. And then the minute like I get out of that stress state, everything comes back, because spirit we can actually hear spirit. So that's another thing to note as well. Regulate your nervous system. There's so much that goes into that, but again, it's so simple, like truly like mindfulness, taking care of your body, working out, doing those things that are just like taking care of yourself. And again, the last thing I'll say is going off of like long walks and being out in nature. Nature is the direct connection to spirit. So if you can get your feet on the earth, if you can go out there and just take long walks and like look at the trees and be present as you're looking, it's like you're tuning to the rhythm of nature, and you're really, again, getting out of that like stress state. And so that's really important as well. And what I've done is gone on lots of long walks just with like frequencies or no music at all. But just tuning out the noise. This is another thing, is like we need, in order for us to hear our intuition clearly and our guides, we have to have less noise, less stimulation. And I don't know about you, but your girl loves to like blare her music. I'm like an addict sometimes for needing stimulation at all times. And I have to train myself every day to not do this, guys. And so really tuning out the noise, going off social media and not going like scrolling all day long or lots of music. It's clouding that the hearing of our guides. Okay, so really, if you can, like, listen to more frequencies, or even if it's just like you take, you know, every other day. It's like one day you're like, you know, today's no stimulation at all. The next day it's like, okay, a little more. That balance, because balance is key. And again, we need the silence to hear our guides. I spent like a whole week, and actually how mine came online stronger is I spent a whole week where I literally listened to frequencies. I took baths. I didn't work. I just was like fully in my own energy at my house. And it was like this portal open, because it's the clear direction, or the clear channel for you to hear your guides and spirit when you don't have all the noise stimulating you. So that's another thing to note as well. But yeah, I think that's a pretty good amount of things. I don't want to like overwhelm you. It's a whole, again, there's lots of things that go into it, but if there's one takeaway I could say from this, it's start trusting your intuition more, even when you're like, the fear is like, no, trust it, because I know it's right. You know it's right. I know you feel it in your gut. And then less noise, like less stimulation, because that's really, and again, I struggle with this, guys, too. I love music and I love like watching things, but you gotta tune it out, because it's like you're not gonna get the intuitive downloads when there's noise all around. So those two things are most important, and then everything else again as well. But it's a journey, and trust, and be gentle on yourself, be so loving on yourself, because you're doing your best, and everyone, I truly believe, can be psychic, can be intuitive, can hear their guides. I think they're talking to us at all times. We just got to attune to that frequency where they're communicating with us. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, definitely share this with somebody who is like intrigued or wanting to develop their intuitive psychic abilities as well. I do intuitive readings, and so if you want help on like strengthening your own intuition or psychic abilities, you can book with me, because I can definitely guide you on that and help you and tune into like your guides talking to you and share the wisdom that they have to share with you. So otherwise, I love you, and I will see you in the next video, my love. Mwah.